More on Vaticano begins now. The Catholic population of Russia is a minority, numbering only 0.1% of the total population. In fact, the total number of Russian Catholics could fit inside half of St. Peter's Square. Despite its small size, the ambassador of Russia to the Holy See, Alexander Avdiv, says that Catholicism is a traditional religion for Russia, and Catholics should enjoy all the rights enshrined in the Constitution regarding freedom of conscience in modern Russia.
Of course, the position of the churches in Russia in the Soviet Union was humiliating, and we remember that. During the years of Stalin's terror, both Orthodox priests with faithful and Catholic priests with faithful were repressed. More than 80,000 Orthodox priests were repressed, and many of them were shot and murdered in the Gulag. The same fate was with the Catholic priests. And after the war, a very slow and complex process of the restoration of the churches began.
The Catholic Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception in Moscow was only once again used as a church in 1996. Catholic priest Father Kirill Gorbunov tells us more details about the history of this cathedral.
This church that we are in right now is slightly more than 100 years old. And like many churches in this country, this church was closed. It wasn't active as a Catholic church for most of its history. So built in 1911, consecrated in 1911. In the 30s, it was confiscated from the church, it was closed, it was turned into a warehouse. And it was divided into several floors. The actual goal of the authorities probably was to ruin this church, just to make it disappear. But in the 90s, the first time that the Holy Mass was again celebrated here was on the steps of this church, because the church itself was closed for the believers. It was Christmas 1990. Then little by little, several rooms were given back to the faithful. The Catholic Church in present-day Russia was absolutely destroyed, absolutely forbidden. So only a handful of clandestine priests was able to serve the faithful. Like all the rest of the Catholic Church in Russia, we here in this parish, Catholics here in Moscow, have to rebuild the church from the ground up. Of course, we are having a previous tradition. We enjoy this, especially the witness of the martyrs, that our patron saints in heaven already. But at the same time, we have to invent the Catholic Church anew.
The community is very active and embodies the whole meaning of Catholicity. On Sundays, there are 11 masses celebrated in 8 different languages. The church hosts 4 different rites: Latin, Tridentine, Eastern, and Armenian. The church plays host to a variety of gatherings and concerts as well.
I think that unity is something that grows from the ground level, from the real experience of common worship, common prayer, common social service, common works of mercy, common cultural service. And I think that little by little, the more we engage in this kind of common things, we will see how this unity shows itself in our ordinary life.
First of all, I would like to mention that in the common declaration of Pope Francis and Patriarch Kirill, the theme of saints was deliberately included. And they spoke about the heritage of saints as our common heritage. For 1,000 years, the churches, each east and west, were together. And during this time, the saints who appeared in East and West were our common saints.
Recently, the Orthodox Church accepted St. Patrick of Ireland and more than 15 other first millennium Western saints into its calendar. However, as Father Kirill says, there are also new saints of the second millennium that are worth discovering.
For many Orthodox Christians, it's very difficult to accept this tradition of our great mystics, like for example Saint Teresa of Avila or San Juan de la Cruz, very important persons for spiritual, Catholic spiritual world, but sometimes very even suspicious for Orthodox Christians. So it is important to know more about this heritage of different saints of later times.
Each saint has his or her own character, charisma, and our relations with saints are always personal. And there are many Orthodox saints who are well known in the West, for example, Saint Seraphim of Sarov, who are respected and venerated by many Catholic Christians. And I believe that the Russian Orthodox Church, during more than 1,000 years of its existence, has developed a very special type of sanctity, which is peculiar to the Russian people. And there are many saints who have very special qualities and who are attractive to the modern people.
After the Second Vatican Council, Pope Paul VI added some Russian Orthodox saints of the second millennium to the Catholic calendar. One of them is Saint Sergius of Radonezh, the patron saint of Moscow. Why did Pope Paul VI choose to do this, and who exactly is Saint Sergius of Radonezh? To find the answers, we travel to the Holy Trinity Lavra in Sergiev Posad, 40 miles north of Moscow. Thanks for watching. Stick around for more on Vaticano.